Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, Accelerating App Development with Low-Code Tools and Embedded Analytics from Reveal BI. My name is Jason Barris. I am a Senior VP here at Infragistics. jasonb@infragistics.com is my email. I've been with Infragistics for over 20 years now. I drive all of our developer tools and BI tools. And today you're going to get a look at how you can use our low-code tool, App Builder, along with Reveal, our embedded BI tool, together to accelerate app development, which is the whole point of looking at tools like this from Infragistics. We are here to accelerate your app development, save you time, save you money, get you to market faster, and ultimately helping you beat your competition with amazing experiences. Today's agenda, we're going to look at low code with App Builder. In App Builder, there's a Reveal component. We're going to learn how to use that. We're going to connect to some data, and I'm going to show you some other resources that we have online, which you can download and start digging into to get going with Reveal as well. Some quick housekeeping, recording and slides will be available after the webinar. Ask questions in the chat and make sure that you send it to everyone and the host so we can all see the questions, and we will answer those during the webinar. So today's product focus, we're going to look at Reveal and App Builder. This shouldn't be new to you. If you've gone to Reveal webinars recently, we've covered this before, but we're just going to continue to focus on how you can use these products to accelerate that application development. So App Builder, of course, does help you accelerate insights with self-service embedded analytics. The beautiful thing about App Builder is it's not a SaaS product. You don't have to log in, switch your context from working in an application. Literally, it is embedded in your app. You're delivering a built-in, beautiful, branded experience to your customers, allowing them to view, edit, share, do whatever they want with a great interactive dashboarding experience. With Reveal, of course, you have an API over the entire experience, so you can control not only the way it looks and the way it behaves, but let's say a user doesn't, you don't want a user to edit. You can disable editing. Maybe you don't want exporting to Excel. You can remove those features with simple property settings on the client. There's all kinds of capabilities that you have to completely customize the experience that you're going to deliver in your application. And of course, your application might have a different backend. We cover all of the most popular backend servers, Java, .NET Core, and Node. And on the client, Reveal is just a JavaScript library. We work with everything: Angular, React, Vue, jQuery. It doesn't really matter. We can work with any client-side technology or just plain old JavaScript. Today, we're going to look at a React application, and we're going to see how easy it is to build a React app in App Builder and then generate the code, and then you can use that code with Reveal. So super easy and super exciting. So the Reveal SDK, as I mentioned, is not a SaaS application. It is an embedded SDK. There are no per user or per server fees. You buy a license per application. Most organizations have a single application. Some have more, but for the most part, you're purchasing an unlimited user license for your application that you can deploy. We have dozens of data sources. Let's say you're using SQL Server or Google BigQuery or Oracle. We have native connectors for all of those data sources. If there's a connector that we don't have for your data source, we have a REST, we have an OData, and we have a JSON data connector. So there's always some sort of a fallback to give you access to your data in the tool. The great thing is, because we are in your application, Reveal deploys with your app. We live in the security context of your application. Prospects or customers say, hey, do you do pen testing? Well, we don't do pen testing. You need to do pen testing because it's in your app. We're not controlling anything. We are not an application. We are just a component that lives within your app. So all of our APIs are secure within the context of your app. And then, of course, as I mentioned, total control over the experience with a client and server APIs. You can really customize what you're delivering to users. And then with App Builder, this is a low-code tool. It's meant to enable designing and building real apps blazing fast. It's a WYSIWYG for the web, which you don't get out of the box with any other tool. You have a toolbox with all of our Ignite UI components, which are commercial enterprise-grade UI components. Drag and drop, create screens, set properties, bind to data, do all kinds of good stuff, and then you generate code. We support web components, React, Angular, Blazor client, and Blazor server. We will generate any of those frameworks from App Builder, and it's pixel perfect production ready code. It's not black box spaghetti code. You can actually, write tests. You can modify this code. It will synchronize to GitHub right from App Builder. So it's a very robust user experience for a development team to accelerate what you at the product management level, product owner level, CTO level want to deliver in your app experiences. And today, when we look at how you can deliver a reveal experience very quickly with App Builder, it'll all kind of clear up on the value that we deliver in these tools. With that, let's take a look at a demo. We're going to start in App Builder. We're going to integrate Reveal. We're going to generate some code, and then we're going to see what it looks like on the server. The goal today is to not write a single line of code, which I think we should be able to do and still get a great experience on the other end. First, I want to highlight that we're not going to create a server in today's webinar. We're just going to use one that I've already created, a very generic server. I have that up in GitHub. I'll paste the link in the chat so you can grab it. It's a .NET Core server. And if you want, you can also look at the clients. I've got some different clients. Here's the .NET Core server. And then I have some different clients here, Angular, Blazor server, and React. But the dashboard viewer example is a full-fledged Reveal sample client and server. We're going to create something similar, but not exactly like this in today's demo. This is the server we're using. I'm actually running it already. It's running at a local host, I think 7218. We're going to use that in our App Builder app. Another resource is the Reveal homepage. Learn more about Reveal here at revealbi.io. If you go over to resources, you can see blogs, white papers, webinars. If you go over to docs, it'll jump over to our docs where you can see the web, WPF, and document object model docs along with the API and the developer playground. We're going to start with App Builder today. I've already logged into App Builder. And in fact, if I open up a new browser window here, I'll go to appbuilder.dev, and you can see this is where you learn all about App Builder, value prop, all the good stuff that matters. To get started with the trial, just click the sign in button, and then you either use your Infragistics ID, Office, Apple, or Google IDs, I believe will let you in. I've already done that. I'm logged in here as my test account, Miriam Graham. I am going to click New Application. You can start with one of our templates. You can start with one of our sample apps, or you can import your Figma or Sketch designs. This is a low-code WYSIWYG tool, so we not only support design tools for getting you started, but we give you a bunch of ways to get a head start first. For this particular app, I want to use a left navigation sort of menu option. I'm going to use this default template, and I jump right into the App Builder editor. App Builder looks like any other IDE that you may have used, like a design tool or even Visual Studio, where I've got my views. So these are my individual views. I've got a menu here to show my toolbox, my data connections, variables, theming and branding, image assets, etc. On the right-hand side are my properties for this particular view or for a component. You'll kind of see how we use these throughout building these apps. And then, of course, down here, I have my document object model, which also highlights elements. And then when you highlight something, you can see that the properties change. But what we're going to do is we're going to build a quick app. This is my master view. I've got 3 child views. This is all part of the template. If I hit the run button, I've got my views. They have some navigation set up, really nothing on these pages yet, but it's basically an application. I can look at the code. This is my Blazor WASM code. We're going to do React today. You can see here I've got all the React code that I need. And that's the beauty of App Builder, is that we are building out production-ready code for you. My view one, I'm going to create 3 different screens. One of them is going to be called combo view. The second view, we're going to do a list view. And the third view is going to be called card view. We're just going to use different components. And I'm just going to show you ideas on how you might use Reveal and how you might use App Builder. How you implement this yourself is up to you. All of these screens will have the same outcome, which is viewing a dashboard, but I'm going to do it in different ways. And then I want to add one more child view, because in my card view, I want to navigate to a Reveal view. I'm just going to call this one dashboard view or dashboard viewer. Okay, that's cool. Now let's go to our master view. This has this menu item here. It's the navigation drawer. It has items in here that we want to navigate to these individual pages. What I want to do is start changing some properties. Let's change this first one to combo view. We're going to make sure that navigate to is selected and that we're navigating to the combo view. For view 2, we're going to call this one the list view. And I want to navigate to list view. View 3, this is the card view. And we're going to navigate to card view. All of these sort of are looking good, kind of what I want to do. Let's go ahead and start creating some pages. But before we do that, I want to highlight a couple other things. Across the top here, you can see my navigation bar. It says app name. Let's change this to dashboard viewer with Reveal. Now I can change some of the theming on this guy. Maybe I want to change the background to a little bit more of a Reveal branding, which is the darkish, reddish, or pinkish color. I can change the fill color here. We can change that to white. You can see dashboard view with Reveal looks good. Now when I run this, dashboard viewer opens and closes, basically just like you would expect. These are just separate buttons here. They're not really doing anything. But again, we can change their colors so they're more obvious. Make it look like this. Looks nice. And at the same time, let's say we want to use a completely custom theme. We could do that. Use one of the built-in themes. I could use any one of our a custom theme that you build. Here, if I just change the theme here, you can see the entire application changes, but let's stick with what we had. If I did use a custom theme, I might have some custom themes already in here. You can see different color schemes, different fonts, etc. You have complete control over theming and branding with App Builder. It is very, very nice. Let's change that to white. Cool. All right, let's go ahead and add our data. Remember, I'm running my Reveal server here. I have my Swagger file, which is where all my data is at. It's at localhost 7218. I'm going to copy this, minimize it. I'm going to go to the data tab. I'm going to add a new data source, a REST API. We're going to call this Reveal Webinar 01. And I'm going to click Add URL to my Open API endpoint, paste the Swagger definition in. Now it's just asking me if I want to type a description. No. Configure endpoints. What do I want? What endpoints do I want out of this? There's only one. It's the dashboard names. The dashboard names are going to return the dashboard file name and then the title of the dashboard. So the file name and title can be different because, of course, you can update the title and the file name might stay the same. So we're just going to use that single endpoint, and it's going to drive our entire application. So we'll click Select Data. We're selecting all the fields. We click Done. We're ready to go. Now, in the combo view, let's go here. I'm going to delete these default things that were here. Let's delete everything, and I end up at a blank screen. Let's pick a new layout. What I want to do is a basic 2-row layout. So now I have 2 rows. I'm going to click Done. On my top row, instead of going to the toolbox here where I could do a search for like a combo box, combo box, and then do a drag and drop. Oops, let me go to the right area here. We can select a combo box and do drag and drop, or I could get to where I want to drag this, hit the Control E button, and then do a quick search. So I'm going to do a combo here, and now there is my combo box. You can see that this theme that I'm using has some rounded corners. Looks good to me. I don't need this entire area to hold up my combo box, so I might set the height here to like 20%, and that's still even too big. Maybe I want this to be like 10%, and that looks good to me. I need this thing to be smaller. So I just want to list the names of my dashboards, and I want it to be right aligned. So I can go to the properties on the right-hand side, and you're going to see that I have options on how this particular row layout is laid out. So I can set the direction, row or column, wrap, no wrap, etc. I have a vertical alignment, so I can set it to the center of the area, the top, the bottom, even spaces, or horizontally, I can do a right flex on it. So I'm good to go there. Now, let's bind some data. So we just added our data source. I want to change my data source to our Reveal Webinar 01 dashboard names data source. That's pulling in the schema. Now it's aware of my fields, and it's actually a live connect to my data source. What do I want to bind to? Well, we have some various data binding options here. You can see I can bind to a label, or I can remove that it says label placeholder. I can get rid of placeholder. But what I want to do is have a value key. I want that to be my dashboard file name. My display name will be my dashboard title. And then the value will be whatever I want this value to be when I select it. I'm going to create a variable for that, and that will allow me to use it elsewhere in this application. The next thing that I want to do before we get into that is I'm going to go ahead and add my reveal component. I do Control E again. I'm going to type reveal. We'll select the reveal dashboard, and you can see that a default dashboard actually just popped up. So looks great, but I don't want to use this server because this is a test server, and I don't want to use this dashboard. I'm going to go over to my left menu and create a global variable, and this global variable I'm going to call reveal server. The reveal server has an initial value. What is that initial value? Well, it's going to be HTTP localhost 7218, or wherever your server happens to be. Let's set this, and the reason I want to do a global variable is I want to use this across all of my views. Now that I've set that, let's go here and set the reveal server, and now it sort of did a refresh, and it is using this server for the sales dashboard. I know there's other dashboards in this server. Let's say logistics is one of them. We can test it out and just type in logistics, and this is a logistics dashboard. But before we do anything else, you'll note here that my fonts are a little funky. What I want to do is go back to the theme that I'm using, and I'm going to duplicate this, and I'm going to call it Webinar Theme 01, like we had. I'm going to leave the colors, everything the way they are. They're fine for me. But for the typography, I want to change it from Titilium to something different. And I think a good font for me would be Lato. I think Lato comes across nicely in all of the visualizations. I'm just going to go ahead and save this. And now you can see that all of my fonts look like they should. The default font for Reveal is actually Roboto. But you could set this to Roboto, and it would look like the samples that you get inside of Reveal. And now what I want to do is I want to bind this dashboard to something useful. Here on my combo box, if we go down to interactions, I want to set the selection changed variable. I want to say set variable when this selection changes. I'm going to do the drop down here. Reveal server is a variable that's global. It's already set. I don't want to mess with that. I'm going to create a new variable here, and I'm going to call this dashboard name. Dashboard name. It's a local variable, not global. So just for this page, we're going to create it. And now every time this gets selected, the variable dashboard name will get updated, which means that I want this to load the dashboard name local variable. When it starts out first, it's going to be empty. If I go back to this guy and I look at my dashboard name variable, it's selected here. If I want to modify it, I can always go to the variables tab, and I'll see dashboard name, click the overflow, click edit. If you want this to be initialized with the value, you can do that. You could initialize it with data from an API request. Well, let's say when this guy loads up, we want it to look nice. and not like an empty screen. It could have the default initial value of sales, and the sales dashboard will show up. It's up to you how you make that happen. Now, if I click run, we'll see I've got my dashboard. I'm going to hide the code view here. I have my drop down. Now, when I select logistics, the logistics dashboard pops up. Order segmentation, I get order segmentation. I'm here. I have all the capabilities of Reveal. I can jump into edit view. I can click edit. I'm in the visualization editor. I can WYSIWYG, drag and drop, change things. All of these Reveal features are available to me, and I didn't do anything. I didn't write any code. It's all part of this low-code experience. So that's the combo view. Let's go back here, and let's do our list view now. For the list view, I'm going to do a pick layout again. I want to do a 2-column layout, not a 2-row layout. I'll just do this. Now I've got 2 areas that I can drop some items in. Let's do Control E. Let's grab a list component. For this particular guy, let's do 20%. Whoops, wrong one. That was height. Let's delete that, set it to unset. I want to do the height. So we'll do the minimum widths, minimum height. We'll do basically the height. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm clicking height again. We want to do the width. Let's do 20%. I think that looks good. The dashboard's going to show up here. This is my list of dashboards. Let's do a Control E. Let's add the Reveal dashboard. What are we going to do here? Step 1, change the base URL to our global Reveal server. Step 2, we need to get a variable here to bind the dashboard to. How do we do that? Well, let's go back to our list component, change its repeat mode to data. And then what data do we want to use? We want to use Reveal Webinar 01 dashboard names, just like we did before. I want to show the title. So for the title, I want to show the dashboard title. So now you can see my dashboard title. We can get rid of this count of 5. We'll just show all of the visualizations. For the subtitle, we're just going to delete that. And we don't need an avatar and we don't need actions. We're basically going to list these guys out. But let's say you have an image, like a dashboard image, and you want to use an avatar and you want it to be like a large square button. You could do that. Looks cool. You could do circle. You could do small. Up to you how you want that to happen. If you have the data to bind to it, you can do it. If we go back to my sample, which was the dashboard viewer, you can see I added some thumbnails here. And in this sample here up on GitHub, you'll learn how to add those dashboard thumbnails. We're just going to leave this the way it is. And now when I select this, I want to do an interaction. I don't want to do a navigate to. I want to do a set variable. On the click, we'll want to create another variable. Let's do another variable. We'll call this guy dashboard name again. And we'll leave everything just the way it is. We'll create dashboard name. Where's dashboard name coming from? Well, it's going to come from the dashboard title. Oh, no, the dashboard file name. That's what we want to load. And we're loading up the dashboard title here. Then let's go back. Let's go here. I want to set this variable to our dashboard name. And that's as easy as it is. Now, when I run this guy and I select the dashboard, you can see we have everything here, just like you would expect, and all of the features of Reveal, editing, changing visualizations, etc., work perfect. And you can see if I close my menu and reopen it, it's responsive. It just works the way it should. So now let's do card view. This will be the last one we do here. Let's jump over to the card view. I'm not going to use any special layout. I'm just going to go ahead and add a card view component. There's my card view component. If we go to these other list view and combo view, what you'll notice is there's a 16 pixel padding on those views by default. If we go here, you'll see there's a 16 pixel padding. This card view, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set its padding to 16 pixels, but kind of looks the same as the other ones. And let's go through the same process we just went through. I'm going to bind this to data. I want the data to be my Reveal Webinar 01 dashboard names endpoint. What am I going to do with this endpoint? I am going to modify the title. Let's change the title binding here to dashboard names, dashboard title. I don't need a subcategory. I don't need this button. I can select the button here and hit the delete key and get rid of it. This heart thing here, this icon button, I want to change this to open in new. We have all of these built-in icons that you can use. So I'm just going to select that guy. We can leave these here. We're not going to do anything with these. But anyway, that's all I need to do for my card view. This is how it looks. I actually don't want it to be going in this direction. I want it to go like up and down and give me a scroll bar if necessary. On the underlying container, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell it to automatically give me the scroll bar, and I want it to wrap. Now I've got a wrap, and it's going to give me the scroll bar. Now when I run it, it just looks sort of normal like you would expect. What I want to do is actually when you select this guy, I want to navigate to this dashboard viewer. The dashboard viewer is empty, but I want to pass the parameter of the dashboard file name. The first thing we're going to do, add our reveal dashboard. Let's do the same thing we did before. We'll give this guy a 16 pixel margin. I'm going to bind this to my server, and now I've got this dashboard here. So how can I set a parameter going from one page to another? Well, if I go over to my variables page, you'll notice we've got local variables and new global variables. If I click a new variable and I add a route parameter, what this is going to do is expect something from another page, and then I can use this binding here. Let's do the same thing. Let's just call this dashboard name, and there I go. I hit the enter key, but my dashboard name is my route parameter, and I click save. And what I want to do for this dashboard is I want to bind it to this local variable called dashboard name. So similar to what we did on our other pages, except it's expecting dashboard name as a route. Now, if I go back to my card view and I click this guy, I'm on my card. And what I want to do is I want to navigate to another page. I click navigate to, I'm going to pick my view. I'm going to go to the dashboard viewer. Dashboard viewer, you'll see here, is expecting something. I'm going to click this little settings icon, and it wants to know what the dashboard name should be. In this case, I'm going to select this, and I'm going to say dashboard file name. So it's going to pass now this dashboard file name to the other page as a route parameter. With App Builder, you can set up passing objects, strings, whatever you want from page to page to do any type of interaction that you'd like. Now, when I run this guy and I click country orders, it took me over to my viewer, and I'm viewing country orders. Let's hit the back button, healthcare. Now I'm bringing up healthcare. Let's modify this ever so slightly. I'm going to go back into edit mode. What I really wanted to do was add that to my icon button. So let's do the same thing. Let's navigate to, I want to navigate over to the dashboard viewer. I'm going to set the parameter here to my dashboard file name. Now I'm done. When I click this guy, it's going to jump over to the dashboard viewer. And on the dashboard viewer, what I want to do is let's do a Control E. Let's add an icon button, and it's going to stick it right there. Not beautiful. I'm not designing anything too fancy, but I do want to change this icon button to something like a back button. So I've got some arrows here I could use. We could scroll down. Let's do this double arrow, and that looks good to me. We could change the color and change the fore color to white. And what is that going to do? When I click it, I want to navigate to, where do I want to navigate to? Back to card view. If I run this and I click back, I'm going to open up order segmentation, click back, open up sales, click back. Now I've got a list view, works exactly like you would expect. Combo view works like you would expect, and my card view, and all of this with no code. So what do we do now? Well, I want to get this code. I'm going to generate a React application, and I can publish it to GitHub, or I can download a zip file. I want to publish this to GitHub. Actually, let's do one thing first here. Let's close this out. Let's give this a name. It's called Untitled App. Let's call it Reveal Webinar React. And now I want to publish this, and we're going to call it Reveal Webinar React. It's going to be a public repository. I'm going to go ahead and create this repository, and we'll just click publish. Now, what this is doing is it's actually generating all the code, and it's putting it in a brand new repository in GitHub. And here, if I click this guy, there's all of my application, all my source code, everything I need for this guy. What I want to do is just grab this repo, copy this to the clipboard. Let me open up Visual Studio Code, and I'm going to do a Command-Shift-P, and let's do a git clone. I'm going to paste this in, put it right here in my source repos, select repository location, and I will just open this guy. Well, here we are. I am in a Visual Studio. If I jump into public or source app, it's got all of my views, combo view, card view, dashboard viewer, all of the code that is necessary to run this application. All we need to do is basically npm start and an npm install. Let's open up our terminal. I'm going to minimize this guy and this guy. Let's do an npm install. That will do an npm start, and this will fire right up, and we should see our beautiful application. Our page launches, and you can see I've got my menu on the left-hand side with my individual views. We've got our nice expand collapse navigation view. The colors are exactly the branding that I expected. This was that default dashboard that we told it to load sales when it first loaded. Now, if I look at my drop-down, these are all of the dashboards coming in from my server. I can just select these guys, and they show up just like we would expect. If I jump into edit mode, I can select one of these, edit. Let's change from a line chart to a column chart maybe. Let's get rid of subscribers, and maybe we'll do revenue. And let's get rid of the legend. Uncheck show legend. That looks good to me. We can check this box. Actually, we'll change the title to revenue, like so. Check the box, and now that's updated. I check the box, and that's automatically saved on the server because in .NET Core, we automatically load and save from the dashboards folder. If I jump over to list view, it's the same experience. It's just a different UI. I'm just loading it differently. And then card view, if I open this guy up here, click back, open this guy up here, click back, it's exactly the experience that you expected from App Builder. We go from the WYSIWYG App Builder experience using that Reveal component now into production-ready React code. If I maximize this, we'll drill into source, app, card view. You can see here, this is all of the code for the card view, combo view. Let's look at the combo view. You can see here I'm setting my dashboard name. There was my default sales. My single combo select value is doing a set dashboard name, and then that dashboard name is being used in the RV Reveal view. And you might be saying, what is this RV Reveal view? This is new because prior webinars, we were using a div, and then we were using the div as a native element in the application. Well, we just released a beta of our new web components. This will be exciting for everyone who's been asking for something different than the plain old JavaScript way of doing things with the div. Now we have web components. There's some installation help. We have a dialogue, a web component, which allows you to have a custom dialogue, which you need in many different ways, like a save as, cancel dialogues, thumbnail selection dialogues. We have the reveal view, which is what we're using here to load up a dashboard, and you can see how all of this works, and we can look at what it looks like in React. We have a CodePen link, and then the visualization viewer for single visualization view. So please take a look at this. This is beta, but it works really well, and that's what we're using when we're generating code inside of App Builder. You can see, didn't really write any code here. We did all the WYSIWYG drag and drop inside of Reveal, set all of our variables, did all our data binding, generated this out, and now we are running it in React locally, and it looks
Beautiful. With that, let's jump back to the slides.
Okay, so there you have it. That's how easy it is to get going with Reveal and App Builder using low code and Reveal as an embedded BI SDK. Delivering experiences and, let's say worst case, just prototyping and proving that something works doesn't have to take hours or days or weeks or months. I mean, this took literally 10 minutes and we were up and running with a Reveal experience, especially if you start with one of the Reveal samples that I showed you on GitHub, where we've got some servers that you can just download, hit run, and it's kind of ready to go running. And then you use WYSIWYG drag and drop right within App Builder, and you have a Reveal application with the full experience, with full editing, viewing, showing all of your dashboards. Very easy to get going and get started. None of this has to be difficult. If you're looking at how can we embed BI into our apps, try just putting something together with App Builder very quickly, and you will be able to prove within 10 minutes that, hey, this is a solution. This is how easy it is to get going. And of course, the devil's always in the details. We have customers that go through POCs, and it could take them several weeks or a month to really understand how it is impacted in their application, what it's going to look like, how it's going to behave, how all the user management and configuration works. But that's what you do a proof of concept for. With Reveal, what we try to do is a managed proof of concept, guide you along the way to get you successful with the product. But App Builder is a great place to start. So next steps, go to revealbi.io or infragistics.com. Contact us at sales@infragistics.com to get started with Reveal or App Builder today. Or, of course, shoot me an email, jasonb@infragistics.com. I can help you get started. We will be doing more webinars like this. Every 2 weeks, we have a Reveal webinar showing off some capability, some feature of the product. To get going with App Builder, go check out appbuilder.dev, as I showed you that website in the demo, and, of course, revealbi.io to get started with Reveal. I want to thank everyone for joining us today. Hopefully you did see how easy it is to get started with Reveal using App Builder, and we will see you at the next webinar.